your feelings. That's what I heard one time from Alex and Layla Hermosi. What they're saying is forget how you feel, show up anyways. If you have a really toned body, did you want to go to the gym every day? Did you feel like it? Probably not. There might be a bit of a correlation. And if you want a fit mind, if you want a fit business, if you want fitness in your life, you need to pursue it with persistence. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why every setback you have in your life, actually, the seed of that has a spiritual equivalent of quite the opposite. We're also going to talk about how weak desire creates weak results. We're going to talk about how you can actually cultivate persistence. And then I'm basically going to give you an insurance policy that you can create within yourself against failure. And all it takes is for you to take that energy that you have in you, whether it's good or bad, and transmute it into something else. You will have more fuel than you did before. You'll be battery charged to do exactly what it is you want to do. That kind of persistence sometimes comes from your darkest moments in life. It's a turning point. That's all it is. Don't think about it too long. Don't dwell on it too long. If your feelings, transmute them into something better. I think this segues us beautifully into why weak desire is going to give you weak results. This is really obvious, and I like the illustrations in this chapter specifically. He says this: weak desire brings weak results, just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat. It's energy. Remember, everything they talk about in this book is energy. When you start a little fire, it's not very warm, okay? The bigger the fire gets inside of you, that's why I'm saying when something bad happens to you, you might have a fire lit under you. That's not good energy. But good or bad energy, that fire is burning and you can transmute it into something else. Know what your chief aim is and go towards it like your butt's on fire. I promise you'll be successful. Napoleon Hill even reminds us that the ease with which lack of persistence may be conquered will depend entirely upon the intensity of one's desire. If this idea seems too lofty, too spiritual for you, I have the perfect example that they use in this book. I just want to say I've never understood willpower and what that actually means until reading this chapter, because he uses the most beautiful analogy that painted such a vivid picture in my mind. I will never forget how powerful I am even when I'm not conscious. Let me go ahead and teach you this. He talks about how when you're sleeping, if you're having a nightmare and you're getting to that really scary part of the nightmare, all of a sudden you'll start like, your toe will twitch, and then, your body's like, oh, God, get me out of here. Like, save me, ugh. And your body will twitch until every part of you will will yourself awake. And I think that is the equivalent of awakening yourself while you're conscious. Wow, I thought this analogy was beautiful. I'm gonna read it for you guys. I know I just explained it, but he just is gonna explain it more beautifully than I did. If you have ever experienced a nightmare, you will realize the value of persistence. You're lying in your bed, half awake, with a feeling that you are about to smother. You are unable to turn over or move a muscle. You realize that you must begin to recontrol your muscles. Through persistent effort of willpower, you finally manage to move a finger in one hand. By continuing to move your finger, you extend control to the muscle of one arm until you can lift it. Then you gain control of the other arm in the same manner. You finally gain control over the muscles of one leg and then extend it to the other. Then, with one supreme effort of will, you regain complete control over your muscular system and snap out of your nightmare. That is exactly what persistence means. It's that feeling that you can just get out of something when you really don't desire to be there, or change your life in the drop of a hat. Incredible. And obviously you have a huge desire when you're having a horrible dream to wake up and get out of it. That's why you can snap yourself out of it. But now we're going to talk about how to actually cultivate persistence. This is something that you can rep it until it becomes your reality. Because at the end of the day, persistence is just a state of mind, and you can induce any state of mind that you desire. Here's the play-by-play on how they say you'll have insurance against failure because you will be so persistent. Here is the formula. First, you need to have a definiteness of purpose. When you're having that nightmare, you are definitely sure you have to wake up and you have to get out of it, right? Definiteness of purpose. In your waking hours, you should think about something that you want without a shadow of a doubt that you want to achieve. You should think about it as you rise and right before you go to bed. The second thing you need is a huge desire to do so. Just like when you're dreaming, you want to wake up. You really need to. You can't stand it. It's creeping on, it's crawling on you. You could feel it. You need to get out of it. That's the desire. This is the one that isn't as applicable to the nightmare story, but you need to have self-reliance. Now, you do pull yourself out of it. But when you're thinking about consciously in this world, not just in the dream world, when you're consciously in this world, you need to have faith that you can rely on yourself. And the only way to do that is to have put the reps in for what it is you want to achieve. Even if the reps look sloppy, even if they don't look that great, with time, they'll get better. The next thing you need to have is definiteness of plans or organized planning. Remember, you can always change the plan, but you need to start having a plan in the first place. You also need to have accurate knowledge of what it is you want. If you have no awareness of the subject or of this elusive thing, you can't have it in the real world. You need to study, you need to learn. That's why leaders are readers. The next one we talked about a little earlier, but you need to have cooperation. You need to have people working with you. The next two are by far the hardest. Willpower is something that you're gonna need to cultivate. You're just gonna need to will it to happen. You need to want it pretty bad, and you need to just keep pushing even when the days aren't going to plan. And the last one is a habit. You need to create a habitual system for making your vision a reality. If you don't be surprised when it doesn't happen. The last thing we're going to talk about is how did I develop persistence? And the easiest way to explain this is probably exactly why Alex Hormozi and Layla Hormozi are who they are too. They started as personal trainers. And I think it really comes down to this. I started running at a very young age. And from that point, I was always coached or have been a coach since that point. I have always had the persistence to take care of my body and work out religiously. And during that, you start to realize what mindset people have that are successful with business, with school, with relationships. And it's people that are very persistent and don't give up and act on their actions every single day. I think that's something that I have developed over time. If you're not sure where to start and you're looking to me for advice, I'd say go for a run. Go for a 5-minute run every day. Create a small habit that you can do. If you can't run, lift weights for 5 minutes a day, exercise. And when you start to see your body change because of what you're doing daily, the small actions you take, you can't go back. That persistence is unwavering. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Take care.